Hi, I'm John Everts from California Leasing, and this is This Week in Santa Clarita Real Estate. I'm excited. I'm here with my friend Mike Emerson from C21. How are you?
I'm excited to be with you, John.
It's
good to see you, buddy.
2 times in one day.
Twice in one day. That's enough of me, right?
Always fun hanging out with you.
Well, it's fun to hang out with you. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
I have a question for you that probably everyone who sells a home thinks about more than any other question. Mm-hmm. And that is, how do you price the home to get the most amount of money when you sell the home?
Good question. Pricing a home, depending on the market, can be quite easy, really. You simply pull down comps and they tell you what the home is worth. But it's always been a little bit of both a science and an art, to be honest with you. In times when there's a lot of sales going on, it's mostly science. We have it in black and white. It shows us what the range is. And the little bit of art is pretty much just dialing in where your home factors in with those comps. However, as you might have heard out there, we have not only low inventory market, we have really a critically low market, or low inventory market.
Well, low inventory and not a lot of sales by month, right?
Right, exactly. So the low inventory has created the low amount of sales. And so there's a really good chance that when we go to pull comps on your home, there won't be very many recent sales, if any, close by. So it becomes much more of an art now as we look into maybe going back further in time to find comps, and we search a greater geographical area. So
Which makes it a little bit more difficult to get zeroed in, right?
Sure does, yeah, because now we're including, even though we might find homes that are about the same square footage, built about the same year, same number of rooms and things like that, we might be going into other neighborhoods, and those other neighborhoods could include HOA amenities and stuff that maybe other homes don't have. So it starts becoming much more of an art, and I think right now we're in that type of a market where pricing a home is a little bit more art than it is science, just for those very reasons.
But let's say my home on the free market, supply and demand, is worth $800,000. Mm-hmm. Do I have a better shot of getting top dollar by listing below or above $800,000?
Well, if the comps are showing your home is worth $800,000, and the comps, you have an $800,000 comp that closely matches your home, well, then you should price it right there. Now, that actually brings up a good topic, because we need to know what the current market conditions are when we go to price a home.
Right.
So if we're going to go at 800, like we just mentioned, and say that's a good idea, we would only be doing that in a market that's stable or maybe even appreciating a little bit. So currently we're in a stable market. The median price single family home in Santa Clarita finished 2023 at $848,000.
That's wild.
It finished 2022 at $840,000. So despite the tough market last year, they did go up about 1%. We'll call that a stable market. So in a stable market, it's important to price the home right from the very beginning, because prices are not increasing to meet inflated asking prices. Right? By pricing the home too high in this type of market that we're looking at, sellers often what we call hang themselves on the market due to lack of buyer interest, and eventually the price must be reduced. And oftentimes the level of reduction that's necessary in order to regenerate buyer excitement is well below what the home would have sold 4 months earlier.
So what about pricing it a little below what we believe market to be in order to generate more activity and maybe get some competition?
I actually think that's a really good idea. And in doing so, you're leveraging the free market to your advantage. Sellers sometimes have some anxiety that they're going to leave money on the table.
Right, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
Why, if it's worth $800, why would I price it at $770? Because then what if somebody only offers me $770?
You don't have to take it.
Right, I don't have to take it. But it feels like maybe I would be leaving $30,000 on the table.
Yeah. Well, the buyers have the same information out there as the sellers do. Those same comps that I'm pulling down for your house to find out what's worth, buyers agents are pulling down as well.
Okay.
A buyer is going to know right off the bat that another home very comparable to that sold at $800,000. They're going to come through your home and see that it's every bit as nice as the one that sold it at $800,000. Now you're worried, especially in this market with such low inventory, that there's going to be other buyers competing for that home. So now your offer goes, well, it's easy to offer $800 because we already know a home is sold for that. We already know it'll appraise without any problem. but I really want this home. So maybe now I'll offer even over that 800 number.
Okay.
It's all about generating excitement and competition for your listing and leveraging the free market to your advantage.
I really like that term, leveraging the free market. It's scary, right? Yeah. It is scary when it feels like you're leaving. I don't know about for you, but for me, $30,000 is a heck of a lot of money. So, you know, and I'm like, I don't want to even take a chance of leaving that on the table. And then what if it doesn't sell right away and then the market slows down or something like that? So to me, it's another reason to find someone like you who knows what they're doing, who lives in this market all the time. I have a different job, right? I don't know real estate sales inside and out because that's not what I do. Right. So, ultimately, though, when I go to sell a property, what I want is the highest net.
Exactly. That's what everybody's looking for. And how to get there is is the big question. And I will tell you that by far the biggest mistake I see sellers make is overpricing their property. And then they do exactly the opposite of what their goal is. By overpricing the property, the home now lingers on the market, and they end up having to reduce in order to bring buyers back.
And then you have this weird stigma of that house has been on the market a long time, there must be something wrong with it.
Exactly.
And then nobody goes to look at it. I've definitely seen that happen before, too. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I definitely think you are genuine in your desire to help people sell their properties for the highest net.
Absolutely. That's what we do.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Mike is going to do what needs to be done to help you net the most amount of money for your property.
It's not only pricing the home correctly, but it's also preparing the home.
We didn't even talk about markets.
That. Yeah, I know that's a whole other subject.
Marketing. We didn't even talk about marketing.
Yeah, we can get back into that next time. But it all ties together.
But I know anytime I talk to anybody about selling anything, it's always like, how much do I sell this for or list this for? Right, so that's a big
leverage the free market. The free market is there. It will not let you leave money on the table.
Oh,
okay. It won't. Price the home correctly, and the market will not let you leave money on the table. You'll get exactly what that home is worth.
Okay, that is
leverage the market.
So if I call you to come list my home, are you going to be honest with me and say, John, that's too high? This is where we need to be.
I'll always be honest with you. The comps will show us what the acceptable range is. We'll have a low end, we'll have a high end. Then we need to figure out where your listing factors within that range. Then once we find that, really, I mean, it's just a matter of finding the latest sold home that most closely represents yours. You'll never find two that match, but represent. Right there will tell you what the market value is. Then we'll go ahead and take a look at the homes that are currently on the market, just to see if there are some ideas of strategic importance that need to be addressed somewhere down the line.
I mean, I would imagine if you have a tract home in town, it's going to be a little easier than if you have a home that was added onto with property out near Agua Dulce or something like that. Now you're into a totally different set of art.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah, much different. And in cases, at least in my case there, I might bring in my appraiser as well before we settle on a price in order to help us out with something like that. When we're talking about something that's totally custom or with something with a lot of property involved with it and not many sales around it, then it could be helpful to bring in an appraiser at the beginning just to get another opinion of value.
Love it. This has all been solid advice. I'm staring at you and nodding because I'm actually processing a lot of this right now. Super useful information. Thank you so much for coming out on this beautiful sunny day and spending some time.
It is a beautiful day, and I'm happy to be here with you, John. Thank you so much for your time.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
And again, I'm John, and this has been This Week in Santa Clarita Real Estate.